What's up, Code Squad? Welcome back to episode 3 of the coding tutorial series. Last episode we worked on autonomous, and I hope that's going well for you. In this episode we're going to be working on the teleoperated, just creating a basic teleop to get your robot moving. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so unlike the autonomous, the teleoperated is reactionary to driver inputs. So think of it as a tool that's written for the drivers to use. And really the first thing a driver should be able to do is drive the robot. And we already really know how to move the robot. As you can see here, just set your vectors to a certain speed. So that's already, we've already gotten that down. And right now all we have to do is get button values from a joystick's axis and then plug them into the function. So to do this, we'll first need to create a joystick. And the joystick that my team uses is an Xbox controller. You can also use the other joystick, but we prefer to drive the Xbox controller. Makes a lot more sense for us. So to create the Xbox controller, just going to go do the same thing you've always done. Public, static, and then let's just call it here Xbox controller, and let's just call it controller 1 or drive control. It's always good that you have names that make sense, that's agreed upon from the whole team. Is equal to new Xbox controller, and now if I go here and go like this, I need to have a port. And this port is basically where you plug in the Xbox controller into your computer. So here, as you can see in the FRC driver station, you have 4 menus. You want to click on this one right here. We went over this, I believe, in the first video, but still, just recap. You need to go here, USB devices, and then I don't have any controllers plugged in right now. But what you would do is you would go here into the USB order, and the number corresponding to what you plugged in is just that is the actual integer that you have to put in to right here as a parameter. So let's assume that mine is in port 0. With this, now we're assuming that there's an Xbox controller plugged into port 0 of my computer. And that's really all you need to do for this. After that, we have to be able to access the buttons on the controller. So in order to do this, first you have to really agree on what your team wants. You have to talk with the drivers a lot about this, about how do you guys want to actually operate your Xbox controller. Our team, what we do is we use the left stick to go forward and back, and we use the right stick to turn. And this works pretty well for us, and it's really easy to learn. So this is what we're going to implement in this as well. And so in order to get kind of how much forward or how much backward these sticks are, what you would have to do is type in, since we're in Tele-OP, we want to be here, Tele-OP periodic. Just leave this for now. We'll get back to this in a later episode. But what you want to do is you just want to say drive controller dot get raw axis, and then here what you have to do is pass in the parameter of the axis that you want. So if you look on the drive station right here, I believe it should be, I can't see it, but when you guys see it, there should be, if you plug in your joystick, a place where you can just like keep fiddling around with the joystick, and it should give you different values, and they move up and down. So you just want to get the corresponding ones. It's gonna have a number there. It just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way down, and then you want to just have the corresponding number. So in order to do the y-axis for the left stick, you will need to type in controller name, or right here, drive controller dot get raw axis 4. And then if you want to get the x-axis for the right hand controller, what you would have to do is say drive controller dot get raw axis 1. So these are just the the ports or the button kind of values that are on the Xbox controller. And so what we're going to do with this is we're going to be passing them in to our victor1.setControlMode .% output. So how would we do this? Well, the axis values that are being passed here, the .get raw axis, this is going to be a number between -1.0 and 1.0, which is really easy because this is in the same it's in the same kind of field of -1 to 1. So what you have to do is just manipulate the speed and turn values by just making them work together in a sense. So let's create some variables for these. Right here we have double, and we said that this was going to be forward and back, so we're going to call this double speed is equal to drive controller.get raw axis, and then this one is going to be double turn is equal to get the x-axis. Okay, so once we have our double speed and double turn values defined, we want to be able to pass these in to have a speed for the right and left motors. For the left motors, you would want this, think of it as if you're going forward and then you're turning, you want those left motors to be being the faster ones. So what that means is these will also have the ones with the more speed. So double is equal to double left, so this is left speed, is equal to speed plus turn. And what this ensures is that the left motors are going to be the left is going to be faster. And this is also because if you're turning left, your turn value is going to be less than 1. So it's basically going to be speed minus turn. So left are going to be slower, and then if you're going right, it's going to be positive, so then you want your left going faster. And we're going to apply the same logic to the right, except it's going to be the opposite, speed minus turn. And once we have this, all we have to do is just pass them into our victors. So I don't know which ones you defined for your robot, but for mine, let's just say that Victor 1 and Victor 3 are my left motors, and Victor 2 and Victor 4 are my right motors. So what I can do is just straight copy and paste this, Control C, Control V, and after that, what we can do is just say, call this one left, right, left, and right. So to recap, what this code is doing is it's first of all, we're defining drive controller here as a new Xbox controller with the port 0. And then what we're doing afterwards is we're getting the axis value, that we're setting 2 buttons, and we're getting the axis values from that. So get raw axis 4, get raw axis 1. And then we're using those, values that we get to modify the left turn speed and the right speed. And after that, we just pass it into our left and right motors. So this is a very basic moving function, but it works very effectively and will help you guys in competition time. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Make sure to save your work, and I'll see you guys next time.